So today I thought we'd continue talking about meditation a little bit with OCD, but also combining it with practicing a skill that is super helpful with OCD that I can't believe I haven't mentioned yet. Or if I have, here we go again. We're going to practice it again. But that maybe not. And again, with OCD wanting a certainty, the answer of maybe not feels just very uncomfortable. And I think of that feeling with OCD, kind of, I've heard it described as itchy or electric kind of feeling, or like electricity or urgency. But, it's kind of wanting to know an answer right now. And so that feeling of maybe not can be really tricky. But I thought we'd practice it and do a little guided meditation kind of at the same time because um, OCD has been called the doubting disease. It also has been called a fear-based disease, and it's about overcoming fears and being able to see and validate a fear. We're not trying to dismiss or minimize the fear, but how we can respond to that fear differently. And so one of the practices of first trying to respond to it differently is the maybe not. And so as we practice it, it's kind of the same with combining it with meditation. It's, maybe you feel something, maybe you don't. Maybe you notice a thought, maybe you don't. That meditation is not about silence in the mind or, total peace around us. It's being able to be still and find peace even in the midst of chaos and fears. And so I think that it's a great time to practice that and to keep practicing it. And, that I think of those fears and how we can respond to them differently, how I can practice walking toward my fear without freezing, without running from my fear or running at my fear. How can I just walk toward it? And that's so much about with OCD is getting out of my head and into my body, like into action. And that we won't know for certain if it's the right action, but that time and time again, I've been reminded the hard way that it's better for me to take action, to do something. And it doesn't have to be this 0 to 60, go from no action to doing all the things. But I think of like just what's one step I can take in this direction? What's just one action I can make? And then we'll look at that next one and go from there. And so I thought we'd practice some of the guided meditation. And I like to remind that even as a therapist, it's really hard to lead these even in session or even now that there's all those doubts in my head about like, oh, are people going to think this is dumb or it doesn't work or, am I going to look stupid? I don't know, just all the different doubts. And it is another chance for me to practice those, maybe not to all of those kind of questions and all of those doubts, but let's try it and see. And that's the only way to kind of find out. And like with most things with me, it's kind of like I don't want to do something, or I'll be like, my brain will be like, oh, I already know the answer to this. But then sitting and pausing and actually doing it tends to always make a difference and or at least help in some way that I was unexpected, and just sitting down and doing it. So I try to remind myself that also, and acknowledge that to myself and be okay. It's okay if, thank you, brain, for letting me know that you think that's a bad idea. I'm going to try it anyway, and then we'll see what happens. So let's practice this meditation. You can get comfortable. I think of kind of trying to ground in my body. You can take a deep breath or not. You can close your eyes or not. The whole goal is to kind of try to return to the present moment, whatever that is in this moment, and to accept that present moment as it is. So I tend to take several deep breaths and try to just notice. I try to notice if I have a thought. Maybe it's the same thought again and again. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a feeling I notice. Maybe it's not. Maybe I should be thinking something. Maybe I should not. And we just continue to hold space for all of those possibilities. There's nothing we have to do in this moment. There's nothing we should do in this moment. Just be. And if I notice I'm starting to get distracted by a thought or a feeling, or that it feels like I'm reliving it in some way, I try to return to the present moment and begin again to just notice. I'm going to just notice. And what do I notice? If I notice my thought, I notice that I am not my thought, that I am the observer of my thought, that the I am is the observer and not the thought. And that same with that feeling. Whatever I am feeling, it's a part of me, but it is not all of me. That I am the observer of my feelings, the I am. The quiet can feel scary. And if I try to notice that, then I can just notice it. And sometimes my brain goes, oh, what's happening now? What should I do? Oh my gosh, I'm not having a thought. What do I do? And I just remind to just notice, to just notice. I try to say thank you to my thoughts, to my feelings, to my body. I try to say thank you. And if I notice any thoughts that come up and go, "Bup, bup, 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 bup," I just notice them. I respond to them with maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe I'm doing this right. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I have a long to-do list of things I feel like I should be doing. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do them later. Maybe I don't. I take as many deep breaths as I need. I try to smile and be playful. I recenter on being curious and just noticing. I move my body however it needs to. You do not have to be still. It's about allowing myself to be exactly as I am in this moment and for that to be okay. That whatever I'm thinking and feeling, can I accept it as it is? Can I practice accepting myself as I am right now in this moment and remembering that I am here in this moment? And I try to notice the peace that I feel when I start to just notice and I start to be in the moment. And I remember that I can come back here whenever I need to. Taking another deep breath, I slowly return to the present moment yet again and return to connection with all of you. And, really, I feel it's interesting. I feel like I can hear more of the silence around me. I feel more present in my body. I feel more compassionate and accepting of myself. And it's just so interesting. All these worries and fears that I had a minute ago feel like they are, harder to access. While they're still there, the disturbance with them is a little less. And that's what I hope for all of you. And so I will leave you with that to help practice on your own, to practice guiding yourself on your own, to please make it your own. It doesn't have to be exactly like that. That's kind of an example of how I do it. And that way you can practice it however many times you need to, or, really find the ways that you lead yourself through that. And I will look forward to seeing you all again soon.